What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Son of the Chaos and Controversy. And so I was entertaining TikTok about a few days ago, and I was scrolling down the For You page, and I happened to come across this one individual's platform, and it was a young mother, Caucasian, and she was going off. She was venting, she was ranting, she was just expressing herself. And the reason why she was extremely upset, disturbed, was due to the fact that her 3-year-old son was told that he couldn't play with 3 other boys. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The reason why she was upset was due to the fact that the 3 boys who said that they didn't want to play with her son was black. And the reason why they didn't want to play with her son was due to the fact that he was white. And some of the things that she was saying was, we bleed the same blood. Get over your freaking racism. You black people feel like you're right to just sit on your high horse and look down on white people, this, that, everything else, blah, da, 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 da. And I was like, okay. So, I'm gonna try to put this in a way where it's not misinterpreted. She didn't allow, because you got certain features on the app where you can either duet the video, or you can stitch, take part of the video, cut it, and then add your 2 cents to it, whatever. She didn't allow that because I think she knew what the responses were going to be. But she allowed the comment section to be open. So I said, well, where do you think those behaviors were learned from? And of course, I had to have people come at me and whatever. You know what? Black people and racism, but it's okay for black people to be racist or whatever, whatever, whatever. You're part of the problem. And I said, I'm part of the problem. I just made a simple statement. But being that you can't go into a full conversation on TikTok, you can only put so much information to where people could just assume anything without, having an elaborate conversation. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I said, instead of wasting my energy on TikTok, I said, let's talk about reverse racism. Okay. Now, she made it a point to say this. She said if the shoe was on the other foot, or if the roles were reversed, then it was white people saying that to those black kids, all hell would break loose. Maybe, maybe not. At this particular point, black people could give a fuck whether white people allow them in or out, whatever. We create our own, way to go about things in life because we are used to being told that we don't belong. We are conditioned to be told, no, go somewhere else. Okay? So, with that being said, she was upset because the roles were reversed, and she was put in a position that she didn't want to be in, or should I say, her child. Okay, so one of the things I had a problem when it came to her venting and whatever, and some of the things she was saying and the way she was saying it, was that to me it was setting up the narrative for future character development on her behalf, to say that this will be the bookmark to justify her own racism towards black people based on this experience that her son has had. Okay? Mind you, kids go through shit. But of course when adults get involved, here we go. So, reverse racism. Can black people be racist? My opinion, based on my opinion, how I look at the history of racism, who started it, the influence and the power that racism has, and who it's awarded to when it comes to oppressing other people, having laws created to exclude groups of people, um, to say who belongs, who doesn't belong, to say who's lesser than, to put a value on someone's life, to control their freedom, to look at them as property and not as a human being, to dehumanize them. For me, that defines racism, along with the terrorizing and killing and humiliating and all of that. Okay. Prejudice, yeah. To prejudge someone based on their skin color, their height, their age, um, sexual orientation, their class, what they wear, you know, where they're from, what language they speak, this, that, and everything else. Yes, I believe black people can be prejudiced to no end. Okay? For me, there's a difference. People tend to blend the two together and confuse the two. Okay? Now, if I say, okay, let's entertain the argument of, okay, yes, black people could be racist. I always speak of validation of points of references. Now, if it wasn't for the fact, that when it came to the establishment of this country, the foundation of this country, the development of this country, and the social construct of those who stood up here and those who stood down here. Okay? For those who were looked at as being property, for those who were excluded, for the laws that were made, such as Jim Crow, segregation, um, those who weren't allowed to have an education, um, had to deal with the housing, the fair housing, the fair banking, gentrification, redlining, all of that. Okay? The voting, the rights to vote and stuff, um, mass incarceration, um, everything that has put people in the power to say, hey, we could throw all this at you. And then not only that, when you had other people coming in as immigrants, foreigners, and they are studying what's going on, and they're saying, oh, fuck, white people are treating black people like that. Ew, we don't want to be treated like that. How can we kiss your ass? Oh, take some notes from you guys and treat them like that? Okay. And that's the reason why there's conflict when it comes to black people and those in other communities. All the way around? No. But for the most part, yes. Okay? Learned behaviors. So, at some point, and it's been stated that what white people fear, and I don't really want to make a blanket statement, but as it said to those in particular, is that they don't want to be treated how their ancestors have treated our ancestors. And they fear that that day might come. Okay? So they're quick to get all sensitive about certain things, quick to be on the defensive about certain things, quick to want to play the victimhood role on certain things, right? But be quick to tell you, you can't be a victim of the shit that they subjected you to. Say what now? Okay. And then they got other people in the black community chanting the same shit. Oh no, see that victimhood shit, da da da. But I'm just like saying, like, so okay. Let me ask you this. America isn't just this one little minute area, okay? It's a country, right? made up of 50 states, counties, whatever, cities, demographics, whatever. I stated before, where certain people grow up, where certain people live, what certain people experiences may not be someone else's experiences. So for some people to sit from afar and say, "Oh, you're probably making this up," or the experience ain't all that bad, how the fuck would you know if you haven't lived in those demographics to know what goes on in those demographics? But you could shout from somewhere else to talk about black on black crime, right? That's acceptable. That you can say, "Oh, what about the black on black crime?" And everybody jump behind that, jump on the bandwagon and say, "Yeah, yeah, black people killing each other, da 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 da." But if a black person said, "Yeah, but so many people over here in these demographics have been lynched by white people," it's like, it's unbelievable. Why? Um, and I'm not saying that black on black crime isn't a problem, but at the same token, there's Mexican on Mexican crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, Asians, they got their little yakuzas and all that other shit. The cartels, white people, they got white on white crime. They got fucking TV shows and series about that shit, documentaries. It's entertainment what goes on and the way they be killing each other. But in the topic of discussion, to just want to like throw kick dirt in somebody's face, what about the black on black crime? What about it? Y'all motherfuckers don't kill each other? Oh, it's just us blacks doing it to ourselves? Get off the gas. That's an old rebuttal response, whatever. Um, and you can play the numbers game with the statistics, but again, if the population of white people compared to black people is more so than the other, um, reverse racism. Are we playing Uno? Got the Uno reverse card or something? Again, I'm not saying what is what these kids did was acceptable, but kids are gonna be kids. But the thing is, people don't want to admit that the history in this country has a lot of wrongs and a lot of atonements that haven't been corrected. And every excuse is being made as to why it isn't going to get corrected. And then people say, "Oh, there's no racism, there's no this, that, and everything else." But then what's the first thing that you hear when you hear about the Biden administration and Kamala B. Harris or the Democratic Party? They're racist. But there's no racism in this country. You hear of Jim Crow Joe, right? And how he just, or how the Democratic Party just used black people as props, um, scapegoats. Um, how should I say? Hmm, what's the term I'm looking for? It ain't good, mind you, I just work, but we're only good with broken promises during election time. But again, that's the reason why I say I don't go for either party, because they don't represent the people. They represent special interest groups or their own parties or whatever in their own establishment. When it comes to the people, we're just peons. But it's our fault as well because we put these people in a position of power. And what they're afraid of is the measures or the extremes that we might go through to take them and remove them from their position of power. But anyway, um, that's what I wanted to talk about. the subject of reverse racism and can black people be racist? Um, do white people feel that they have a right to feel the way that they do when it comes to black people using their same antics against them, or their own racism against them, or their own prejudices against them? Um, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I see, like, a lot of things that black people have endured, other people aren't willing to tolerate, or they can't tolerate, or they can't take it. But it's okay when they subject us to the type of treatment and expect us to be okay with it. Now, I'm speaking to those who they know who I'm speaking of. This don't go for every white person, but for those who you know that it applies to, I'm just saying. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section, and peace.